Be true to yourself. Truth is knowing who and what you are in God. To access this kind of self-knowing requires first stripping away the false layers of beliefs, indoctrination, and installed opinions in order to directly experience the nature of who you are. Realize this: you are energy, a mysterious, unnameable, unlimited mystery. You have a right to exist. Inside of you is a wealth of unlimited knowledge, energy, and harmony. And spiritual life is about accessing this wisdom, power, and love. This realization can only come from empirical knowledge, self-inquiry, and of course, self-observation. In ancient times, people knew who they were because they were directly dependent upon the earthly mother for everything. Tribal culture was crucial to individual identity and survival. It was part of the collective group psyche, comprised of each single member. Unfortunately, we are now living in a deviated society, one that has lost touch with its primal, ancestral identification. For the most part, people have lost their ability to remember their primal origin. This began to happen when we moved away from agrarian culture, agricultural societies, opting instead for the advancement of industrialization and technology, as evident in reliance on phones and computers, as well as the news media to tell us what to think and believe. The present age is mired in this kind of programming, whether religious, political, educational, or social indoctrination. It is all part of someone else's way that things are. Add to that the proliferation of pharmaceutical psychotropic drugs, poisoned water, impure foods, toxic soil and air, and now you have the perfect storm for creating a system of dependency, spiritually and intellectually dumbing down massive numbers of people around the world. Being true to one's self begins by breaking free of everything that gets in the way of seeing who you are in the mind and heart of the divine, infinite Creator. If you've already seen my video entitled Sovereignty of the Heart, then you are familiar with the lasagna layers which cover our core trauma. Going through these layers by practicing meditation, cosmotherapy, de-armoring bodywork, and emoting are essential to undoing the socialized, dysfunctional hypnosis of modern culture, as well as breaking free from addictive habits, exposure to toxic chemicals, and debilitating behaviors like smoking, violence, pornography, gambling, and drug abuse. One must break free of all the artificial idols, the false values and substitutions that block our true faith. Because it is often these things that become the gods we worship. One of the most deceptive of all idols is, in fact, luxury. Luxury is the pursuit of material or even emotional things, with the hope that it will bring a person a sense of fulfillment. These can include having nice cars, lavish homes, a trophy wife, and unlimited resources to travel to exotic locations. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having nice things. The question is your happiness dependent on having them? Having more than you really need to be healthy, comfortable, and secure? The downside to any obsession with luxury is this: unless you were born rich, acquiring these kinds of affluence requires an investment in time, energy, and expending tremendous effort to gain these things. Just to reach the level of status you believe is necessary to be happy. This is what I call the Tony Robbins or Dave Ramsey model. But there is another term equally as important, and one that is seldom considered. I think of it as the Zarathustrian or the spiritual sage approach, and I call it the status of pre-luxury. Pre-luxury is the natural result of primal conscious living. The person who seeks pre-luxury is one who can already see ahead what the preordained results are going to be. And rather than going through the motions of working their asses off, struggling, obtaining material wealth, surrounding themselves with fancy toys, elaborate edifices, being competitive, gaining influence and prestige, only to grow weary and bored, instead, these souls opt for being a lone wolf, seeking first and foremost to absorb the living current of life and experiencing a sense of abundant freedom through minimalism and independent thinking. This, of course, requires a process of steady introspection and deprogramming, meditation, prayer, as well as developing practical skills. Everything from money management to gardening, animal husbandry, carpentry, plumbing, electrical work, mechanical know-how, food preparation, and all manner of self-reliant and self-sufficient abilities. Pre-luxury is about one thing: being true to yourself. It is about being an independent, sovereign, and spiritually abundant individual. Instead of becoming a slave to things, status, power, and affluence, we choose a path of sacred communion with the endowments of God, nature, ancient knowledge, and most importantly, the living current of life. Perhaps the Master Jesus said it best. In Matthew 6:19 through 21, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal." For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. This is a condition of livelihood that cannot be bought or attained with any amount of money. It comes from an organic process of inner transformation, releasing the artificial disconnect, healing past emotional trauma, and embracing fully one's own divine sovereignty of the heart. On this channel, and in my book, Primal Conscious Living, Loving, and Dying, I've talked about practical ways to open up to this flow of life through simple living, independent thinking, and developing the life-sustaining skills of self-reliance and spiritual enheartenment. In today's video, I want to discuss this topic more deeply and share with you the secret to spiritual success beyond materialism, affluence, wealth, and status. Real freedom is in the minimum of needs. True greatness is in the smallness. How to be true to yourself. Number 1, seek to be independent. Be as financially and emotionally secure within yourself as possible. To do this, you have two choices. You either need to work very hard to make a lot of money, or you can go in the opposite direction. Continually improvise and adapt by deliberately and creatively downsizing your needs and wants until you find a level of minimalism that feels empowering and liberating to you. This is something that each individual must define for him or herself. Number 2, get a piece of paper and write down 3 things that really matter to you. Things that bring you absolute joy. Do not list people in your life, either real or imagined. For instance, do not list your partner, friends, children, parents, or grandchildren. What you want to identify are hobbies, activities, or creative passions that interest you. Things that do not require another person. Once you've identified these 3 things, now seek to make these a priority in your life. Whatever it is, start spending some time on one or more of these activities each week. Do you want to take up playing an instrument, or painting pictures, working on cars, traveling, fishing? Whatever it is, start cultivating these as a skill. Pursue a hobby or a goal that makes you happy. Number 3, it's important to distance yourself as much as possible from anyone in your life who tends to intrude, control, criticize, condemn, micromanage, undermine, disrupt, sabotage, judge, or who makes you feel uncomfortable or afraid. Life is all about vibrational frequency, and each person is seeking the level of energetic vibration that feels right to them. It doesn't make them or you wrong, only different. Being true to yourself means understanding the importance in finding your own frequency spectrum and sustaining it. It's important to find your own sense of personal equilibrium and balance. You are not responsible for meeting the needs and desires of anyone, except, of course, small children. Being true to yourself is something that only you can do by yourself and for yourself. Part of the journey back to the reawakening into Source requires reclaiming your own sovereignty and sense of control. Each of us has 8 basic primal emotional needs. If you are not familiar with these, watch the video Self-Nurturing and review these. It will help you to be true to yourself. As always, keep reaching upward toward the light of who you are. Break free of the programming of conditional existence and allow yourself to enter into the realm of the immortals. The greatest pursuit in life is to know thyself.